Good morning. It is Wednesday morning, February 28th, and it is time for Morning Mercies with Pastor Big Al. Chapter 51. It is the Psalm of David when Nathan had rebuked him for his affairs with Bathsheba, as well as the murder of Uriah. And Psalm 51 is a psalm of restoration. God restores David. But let's listen to the psalm and we will see the steps of restoration, the things that happen with restoration. The first one is a complete cleansing. We see this in verse 2 and verse 7. David prays, "Wash me clean from my guilt, purify me from my sin." Verse 7 says, "Purify me from my sins, and I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow." When God cleanses us, when God forgives us of our sin, it is a complete and total washing, whiter than snow, as David says, that if God washes me, it'll be whiter than snow. But there's something else that we need in that restoration, and we find that in verse 10, and it is a new heart and a restored a renewed spirit. Listen to what it says. Verse 10 says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a loyal spirit within me." That God can remove a heart of stone. He can remove a heart that's bent towards sinning and replace it with a clean and pure heart. And that he can renew a spirit that has this desire and this craving to serve God. So that's two. Number three is found in verse 12. "Restore to me the joy of your salvation and make me willing to obey you." You see, guilt can play a hard time on our lives. It can make us so that our life is not filled with joy. The enemy of our soul desires for us to continually feel guilty of our past sin. And when we feel guilty of our past sin, that joy is no longer there. But David wants the joy of the salvation of the Lord to be renewed, returned to him. He wants that joy. And finally, we find it in verse 15. He says, "Unseal my lips, O Lord, that my mouth might praise you." So the last step of this reconciliation, this restoration, is a praise from the person who has been restored.